Yo, what's up, everybody? It's DWR Radio. I got a handful of videos I'm going to be putting out, kind of giving little tutorials, breaking down what's possible, what's happening over here at DWR Radio. This is probably the most straightforward one, but we're just going to start right from the beginning. If you create an account, you're going to get an email verification, but then the first time you log in after you verified your email address, it's going to look like this. You could add your profile picture right there. I'm going to put that up. You can put in a bio. Hello, this is my bio. Exclamation point. If you got a website, you can put it in right there. And boom, now you're in the studio. So the first thing you might want to do is add your Stripe account. Basically, click this. I'm not going to do it in this video, but it'll bring you over to the Stripe page. You won't be on DWR Radio anymore. But log in. It's going to send you an email verification. Once you verify, it'll be connected, and any changes or anything like that, you will get an email verification about. So if you want to update it or anything like that, you're always going to be getting email verifications. But once that happens, you can begin to sell downloads and your merchandise. So we'll start with a single track. Here's the upload section. It's got the two different tabs, the single track or the project. We'll do a single right now. You pick the file. I'll pick this one. You put in the description, off the sketch tape, volume 1. Yo, that's available here at DWR Radio. The cover art for singles is optional. You don't have to do it. I'm just going to pop this up here. And if you uploaded a project and you forgot to add a track, or you want to add extra tracks to a project that's already been uploaded, you could select it here. Obviously, I don't have any. But, yeah, so you have that option as well. But, boom. So once that's there, you can set it for download. I'm going to allow a free download on this. Or if you're going to sell it, you can set a fixed price, pay what you want. And, yeah, that's basically that. It's going to go public, but I'll show you the private in a second. So this is saving. The track's uploaded. So if you click singles, you go down. Here it is. You can manage it. If you wanted to set it to private, you'll generate the private link. And this is how you could share it. Anybody with this link will be able to listen to that track. It's going to be hidden from everybody else on your profile. You need this link, basically, to get access to it. Now, if you have followers here, you could add the followers. You could add all of them. You could add some of them, however you want to do that. So then when they're logged in, that's going to appear for them. And then if you ever need to, rotate the key or the link or whatever, just click that regenerate button. That's going to cut off anybody that has access to the original link. They won't be able to access it anymore. They'll need this new link. So, yeah, pretty straightforward, but that's the singles. Now, for projects, basically the same thing. We'll do a sketch demo. Yeah, you put in the name, you put in the description. It's going to put demo. Select the art. It's optional for this as well. And I don't know if I mentioned it in the single thing. If you don't put up artwork, it's just going to fall back to your avatar for your profile. So whatever your profile picture is what's going to come up if you don't have album art for your singles or your projects. And then again, you can select whether it's for download, whether it's not for download, free download, if you're charging, whatever you want. But then you choose the files. Now you can select multiple. And these are all going to upload. You see this one's going here. It's zooming. We're watching. We're waiting. But, yeah, once these are all uploaded, again, with the private, you can do that. You can set a release date for it, so it'll just pop up whenever that date gets hit. And you can share a private link in the meantime for that. I'm going to set this to public. I'm going to select save, and then waiting for uploads. Once this is all upload, boom, it's gonna be done. And then it will appear over here in the projects tab. So let's wait. If this isn't too long, I'm going to dead these ones. So the projects will just be done. Refreshing. Boom, there it is. Okay, so now the main page. This is DWRradio.com. This is what you land on when you hit that. And first thing is the projects tab. These come in. There's no algorithm. As they come in, they appear here. You could give it a fire. You could leave a comment. You could share it. All that different stuff. This is the following. I'm not following anybody yet, but it does work sort of like Twitter, Facebook, whatever. The global feed, though, this is everything that's happening in order as it happens anywhere on the site from any account. So this is anybody. You don't have to be following them to see the stuff here. So, this is Immaculate Vernacular. I'm going to follow them. Boom. And then you come over here. I got to refresh this probably. But now he appears in the following tab. So that's dope. You can leave comments. You could tag people if you want to tweet something out or chirp. We call them chirps. This is a chirp. Boom. Post it. It's going to appear in the global tab. There it is. How you customize your profile is how your little cards are going to display as well. So that's kind of cool. It's going to look colorful over here. And, the stations tab. Now, this is dope. I'm actually going to get back to that in a minute. This is the blogs. If anybody starts blogging over here, it's the same kind of thing as the projects. It's just going to appear in order as they happen, and that's lit. This is all the takeovers so far at Dead World Radio, little write-ups about them. And then the chat is the live chat. You could hop in, say what's up. But the stations. So this is the Dead World Radio station page, but you could start your own. So if you click your stations, create a station, what are we going to do? We'll do Dead World Radio test, description, test. The image, going to use that image again. Allow listeners to call in while live. Yes. Create station. And boom. Now you have a little station. You could set a schedule. Obviously, you're not beholden to it. But if you do end up, broadcasting regularly here, you could set this section up. There's an about section. You could add links and all of that. And, okay, so now this is the little DJ console we got here at Dead World Radio. I kind of modeled it around Mix, which is like a very common streaming DJ console. It's free. It's great. I used it for mad long. But I just took a lot of the different things that I was using the most and just bundled them all here into Dead World Radios and then added the phone calls and the aux, which I'll get to in a minute. But you got two decks. You got, the volumes for them. You can slide between the two. And
Dead World Radio.
That might be crazy loud. But you got the drops. You could load them in. If you want to put a little message in to, anybody that's tuned in, it'll pop up on their phone. Hit send the message. Boom. If you're playing tracks, they're going to be displaying in your station card as they play. But if you wanted to pin something for some reason, like, I don't know why you would do that. Maybe if you're playing like a whole entire beat tape or something like that, instead of just having it rotate the different tracks, you could put like the beat tape's name plus full. You could pin the message. But that's basically how that works. If you run into any problems or you got any questions or whatever, there's a help thing that'll bring up all these little question marks that's going to explain exactly what everything is in greater detail than I am right now. I'm just trying to be quick. But good things to remember, though, is that you could set, all your monitoring levels as you want here. And, so if you want to cut the music down, if you got somebody calling in and you got to talk to them quick, you want to, get the music a little bit lower, you could do all that. But every once in a while, just hit this monitor button up at the top. That's going to play everything at the volume that it's being broadcast at. So that's just good to pay attention to. I actually listened to the whole show with that on, so I know everything's sounding good. And I've been doing that because I actually screwed up a couple shows by not doing that. It sounded great on my end. It did not sound good for the listeners. That's very, very useful. You could duck different volumes, you know what I mean? So when your microphone is on, you could select what gets ducked. Pretty self-explanatory. But now the calls. This is like the most important part, I think, of radio, is having people be able to call in, say what's up, listeners, artists, whoever. So you could open the phone lines by clicking open the phone lines, and then on your station, it'll say the phones are open. If somebody's logged in and they're trying to call, it will autofill their logged in, their account name or whatever, or they could just type in a name if they're not logged in. They can request a call, and it's going to probably double up right now. But it's going to pop up into a queue. So you can't hear them right now, but they can hear you. They can hear the show and all of that. If you click answer, now you can talk to the caller can talk to you, and everybody in the queue can talk to each other. So this is not being broadcast. This is happening behind the scenes. This is where like the local monitor leveling thing really comes, into play. That's why I have that. You know what I mean? So you can duck the music a little bit without ducking it on the broadcast. If you got somebody you got to talk to before you guys go live. But when you're ready to go live, you hit push live, and boom. Now everybody could hear everybody on the broadcast. So you could have up to 3 callers. Everybody could talk to each other. And that's pretty dope. And again, there's no phones. Anybody can do this. If you start a station, you can take calls. And that's basically that. Okay, so now, if you ever wanted to call into a station that is having an open aux, how this works, you go to the station's page. It'll say open aux. If it's open, you click it. You need an account at DWR Radio for this part. You don't need one to call in, but to do an open aux, you do. And it's going to fill in your profile name. Now you have 2 inputs. So if you're on a computer, you know what I mean, you can select what input you want. If you have a sampler that your computer is going to recognize as an audio input, you can select that and directly, you know what I mean, pipe the signal in to the show, which is dope. And make sure you have headphones on. The kickback, like I said earlier, is crazy on it. There's no noise suppression, no background wave, you know what I mean, inversions going on. It's going to sound exactly like what is getting picked up on the mic, and the feedback happens like very rapidly. So if you don't have headphones in, you're going to figure it out pretty quick anyway. But just for a heads up. And then if you wanted to just play audio files, you could select them down here. You could add 5 to the queue at a time, and then you could pop them into the different decks up here. You can start them whenever you want. If you want to do a sneak preview of a verse you're working on, or if you got an instrumental, something you want to play, and then you could fade between them. This is like a very slimmed down version of the DJ console. But it's for people, you know, if you wanted to have a beat battle, if you wanted to have a cypher, people even just sharing their music, showing each other what they got going on live on some type of station. You could do that here. If you go through all 5, you want to delete some from the queue, you could do that and then just add the new ones again. If you have 5 of them, you got to let one of them go to bring in like a 6th one. And then again, just pop them back up into the decks. But this is going to basically break down everything. The Bluetooth, don't use Bluetooth for this. Headphones in, absolutely need that. Watch the broadcast levels. So this is like the broadcast monitor on the DJ console. This is like that for the people who are calling in with the open aux. So you can set all your levels how you want, you know what I mean, to sound for you, but then just make sure that the broadcast, this is going to show you exactly the sounds and the levels and volumes of everything that are being sent into the broadcast. So make sure that sounds good. The auto sync, if you're going to play like an instrumental and rap over it, make sure it's synced up. It'll auto sync for you. It's going to, you know, that's determined by your browser, the latency. Make sure you just hit auto sync. It'll do it for you. And then if you need to kind of tweak it, you have some wiggle room to do it yourself. I wouldn't mess around doing that. The auto sync is pretty good. And then there's the checklist. So just make sure you're ready to go, because once you call in, boom. I'm going to mute this over here. But boom, you appear over here in the DJ console, and then the DJ could answer it. They could chop it up now. Again, in the waiting room, you're not on air, but now you could talk to each other. And then if you want to push them live, you could push them live. And I got that muted. But you could have 10 people in the open aux at once versus the 3 for the call-ins. And if people are called in as well, you could have the phones open still, and everybody could talk to each other, whether they're in the open aux or they're calling in. But again, the only difference is over here you could solo. So somebody's supposed to be playing their joint or whatever, and somebody hits something by mistake or whatever. Like, you don't have to worry about that. You can just solo the person that's supposed to be performing at any particular time. So that's basically that. I hope it wasn't too long-winded. I hope it was helpful. I'm very excited about this. And, any station could do this. If you created a station at DWR Radio, you have access to this. And, this is what I've been using to broadcast DWR Radio for like the last 2 or 3 months. So, I use it myself. I think it's working well. And, I hope, you know what I mean, people start their own stations. I'd love to tune into somebody else doing something ill over here. You could take calls. which, I tried to make that as easy as possible, and then the aux as well. If you want to have a show where people are doing, playing beats, rhyming on it, whatever, you could do that here. And, let's go. Let's get some stations rolling.